Hi, my name is Aman and I'm a CPA practicing in the Metro Vancouver region of British Columbia, Canada. This video will discuss the new small and medium-sized business recovery grant. Please be advised that this video is only relevant for business owners of British Columbia. While small businesses generate new jobs, they are also valuable assets to the local community and keep our economy moving. The Small and Medium-Sized Business Recovery Grant program provides fully funded grants of up to $30,000 to businesses to ensure that they have the support they need during and beyond COVID-19. Interested businesses that meet the grant criteria must fill out an online application at BC Business Recovery Grant website. The program is set up to help businesses succeed in the long term. To receive funding, you must meet the eligibility criteria and demonstrate that you have a recovery plan consistent with this program's criteria. The eligibility criteria are listed on the website, which I have shared in the video's description below. The recovery plan should clearly show a path to regain solvency upon grant funding and have a realistic, implementable path to remain solvent into the future. There are about 500,000 small businesses in BC. The recovery plan may not be able to help all of them in their endeavor, as right in the first step, as a business owner, you must apply for funding and provide information to demonstrate that you meet the eligibility criteria. You see, this recovery grant is not a handout. This is supposed to be grounded or rooted in strong accounting principles, which will be pretty evident from the ministry's template for recovery plan. In the recovery plan, you also need to demonstrate that the organization is on sound footing, that it is not meant to be a program where the business was flailing and COVID was just the final straw that broke the camel's back. The idea here is that this was a sustainable business, solvent, profitable, and COVID hit, derailed it, and hopefully now you have a system where the recovery plan can bring your business back on its feet and provide sustainable long-term jobs for British Columbians. So the idea is that you plan to demonstrate a realistic and implementable path to recovery. The recovery plan must be practical. You know, if you say that you will be doubling your revenue in 3 months based on just a $30,000 grant where it took you 20 years to get to your existing revenue, this might be a stretch, so the ministry might reject the recovery plan. You see, this grant is not like one size fits all type of a grant. The grant ranges from $10,000 to $30,000 and is based on various factors such as the number of employees and other variable factors. Remember, in the recovery plan, you need to describe your business. It is basically a couple of big buckets to say, hey, what is wrong, what changed in your world, and what you're going to do to either get the change reversed or get people back in the doors again, or how can you change your business model to recover. For example, let's say you are a 10-seat hairdresser. Due to restrictions, now you have to survive with a 6-seater financially. This means you might have to change your prices, go after different clients, or do some marketing, etc. Again, the big picture is what you have got right now, what do you plan to do to get back on track or to maintain the track that you are on using the funds that the government will provide you. So it might be that you need to revise your marketing plan or take your products online. For example, let's say you're a small business owner running a toy manufacturing factory and live in a town which has got girls predominantly. You know, you have been selling dolls, let's say $600 to $700 a month. Now you might think that you need to add a fire truck to the product line. Well, that can be great, but you just need to know how many boys are there in the town that like a fire truck, how involved the advertising is going to be, how the customers are going to find out about your new product line. You see, if your gross margin is struggling to make a profit, just selling more will not improve profitability. Moreover, the business should have some positive cash flow. Your profitability might not be top line, let's say due to depreciation in some cases, but you must be solvent. That the company should be cash flow positive. The idea here is that the grant is only helping you to get through a short period of time. Now you might ask whether you can use your own professional service provider to prepare a recovery plan. Well, sorry, the answer is no. The ministry insists that you work with one of the professional service providers which has been matched with your business under this program. These providers have been selected through an expression of interest process and have received training to carry out the work and are approved to provide the professional services of up to $2,000 per business, and this amount will be paid directly to the provider. The service providers will ensure that the information is presented to the ministry in the required format. The service provider role is more of an honest broker, which will tell the government and the company what they need to know instead of what they want to hear. The service provider will help you understand what is wrong with the business and help you fix it. He will suggest sample recovery options such as e-commerce, etc. For example, traditionally before COVID, the customers came into the restaurant, bought food and alcohol, and now your customers have to search the menu online and do a pickup or get it delivered. So you need to figure out whether you can continue to do what you used to do before COVID, or you want to follow a different approach such as a new line of products or new ways of attracting customers to the restaurant. You see, there is no one magic formula that works for any company. In the plan, you will need to demonstrate how do you think you will be getting your revenue. It is not about just punching numbers on the top line, that is the sales number, and saying, let's say I was at $500,000 sales, and based on this 30,000 grand, I will be able to get $2 million in sales to make my break-even numbers work out. Remember, your service provider will check whether the recovery plan is realistic or no. For example, let's say you're a restaurant owner who wants to install heaters. The service provider will ask questions such as, how long will the heaters take to get here? What kind of impact the heaters will make to help you in the winter months if you were working in a small community of, let's say, 15,000 and your restaurant has a capacity of 10, and you suggest that there will be 75 to 80 visitors now, whereas you only got 10 to 15 per night. That means that this is not a realistic plan. So these questions are really to ensure that the numbers are based on solid business principles. To a limited degree, funds can support fixed costs such as rental payments, lease payments, or other overhead costs. However, it is important to recognize that the grant funding in this program is finite and provided on one-time basis. If coverage for fixed costs would be required over an extended time frame, grant funding under this program will not be sufficient to support the business until COVID-19 is behind us. The business would need a realistic and implementable plan to remain viable during and beyond COVID-19. The recovery plan will include the financials for at least 2 fiscal years and will have sort of a current set of financials to show the impact of COVID. Then there will be a performance statement of what the recovery plan is likely to generate, showing a reasonable path forward supported by financial statements. If it is found that the only way your company can survive this is by downsizing significantly, it is still supportable. Despite everybody's best efforts, there will be times that there is no viable recovery plan. The company might be insolvent. Wait, you might ask the question, what is solvent? Well, for this program, the solvent is defined as assets that are greater than liabilities or demonstration that the company has an ability to service its debt. In this case, your service provider is expected to be frank, as there is no point in manipulating the forecast because it will only delay the inevitable, that your business will not survive. If you are a successful applicant, you must provide regular accounting updates for the spending and status of your recovery efforts that have been supported by the grant funding. You must also agree to participate in a third-party audit at the end of the grant program. Please remember that this is a taxable grant. If you want to be notified about our new tax updates, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video. Until then,